Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the topic of the truth about the LA riots. So, when it comes to what the truth about the LA riots is, the truth of the matter is that it should serve as a learning lesson as to what happens in life when people are not only um, not able to do their research properly, but when people believe they are accepted into something without actually using their head. In other words, they forget who they are. And that is exactly what the truth about the LA riots is. So let me explain, okay? Because the truth about the LA riots, if you're familiar with the LA riots that are going on right now, which of course is big news in America right now, which is this whole issue that's going on with Latinos, these mass protests in LA and even other cities, but specifically LA, because of the amount of people who are being detained, by ICE, and sent back to Latin American countries. That is what these protests are about. Okay, and some of them, of course, like anything, some of them resort to violence, and that is the truth of the matter. Okay, for an overall peaceful protest, that is the truth of the matter when it comes to the LA riots. Okay, and the truth is, even though, of course, the LA riots, of course, well, it's of course, not a good thing. I can't really say, in my honest opinion, to put it bluntly, I can really feel all that bad for them, And I'm not saying this to sound like a dick and saying that Trump should be successful, but I think what I mean by that is that this situation should serve as a learning lesson. When people are deceived into believing something, especially in a white supremacist world that we live in, you know, they're deceived into believing that they're accepted, and as a result, they forget who they are. And that is exactly what is going on in LA. Because the truth of the matter is, this situation is happening because, at least a lot of it is happening more like for that matter, because so many Latinos voted for Trump. It has already been proven by polls, and these are not like some BS polls of like maybe surveying like 10,000 and 20,000 people. They have actual polls to show when it comes to the number of people. Okay, we're talking about tens of millions. There's easily over 40 plus million Latinos in America. Okay, there are polls that they have done that have shown based off actual voting numbers that they've checked, that tens of millions of Latinos, yes, I said that, tens of millions of Latinos voted for Trump, or in other words, the majority of Latinos specifically, more like I meant, voted for Trump. The majority voted for him, okay? And that is exactly why, for example, especially among the biggest demographic in America after white people, why Donald Trump, at least a huge contributing reason why he became elected as president, okay? And the thing is that it's so weird because Trump never made it unclear that he wanted to get rid of a lot of Latinos. Besides Trump in general, I don't think he likes Latinos. He kind of always made it kind of clear in big ways, even before, he became president. He doesn't like Latinos, and even when he's become president, he's made it kind of clear he doesn't like Latinos. Of course, black people always receive the top hate for everything, so it's quite surprising to think that he just genuinely doesn't like Latinos. But in general, to be quite honest with you, it seems like Latinos, after blacks, of course, no surprise, take a good second place. But yeah, he's made it kind of clear he just doesn't like Latinos, just like he used to, when he was a hotel owner, put C on, on doors to make sure black people didn't go there. But the thing is, why didn't he just put like black people? Why did he say color? Because that's actually what the C represented, because he doesn't like people of color, black and brown. And that's the truth of the matter, okay? And it's so weird that some Latinos support it because he kind of made it clear he never liked Latinos. And specifically when it comes to his election promises, he made comments like he wanted to have over 20 million Latinos supported from the United States of America. Yet, they still voted for him, okay? And that's the truth of the matter when it comes to this particular topic. The majority of Latinos still voted for him when he's made it not only clear that he doesn't really like Latinos, he's also, made it clear that he wants over 20 million of them plus, deported. He said, I remember watching things about it and looking at the things he was saying, and he said that he wanted to make it the largest deportation in human history or something like that, or in American history, whatever. But I didn't hear him say that. And you kind of make the argument that, well, how do you know it's true and this and that? These are big companies that actually report on making these statements, as well as the fact that he's made so many of these types of statements. Obviously, some of them have to be true, and that's the truth of the matter about Donald Trump. He wants Latinos out of America. He doesn't like Latinos, and that's the truth about Trump, to be quite honest with you. Okay, yet they still overwhelmingly voted for him. And you're telling me they couldn't have done their research and looked at the stuff to kind of realize, okay, this is kind of bullshit. In all honesty, when it comes to voting for this person, but they still voted for him. Okay, and the thing that I also want to mention when you bring this stuff up among Latinos is that they always, okay, and I'm not even trying to be racist, I'm just being honest here, okay? I'm critical of everyone, of people of every race, because humans in general can do better. But one thing I've noticed about Latinos is that when you bring it up, they always want to pull off this whole argument all the time. Well, I don't like the way the country's going. I don't like all this weird shit that they're trying to push on people. This whole LGBTQ plus, wokeness and cancel culture type stuff. But at the same time, whether you are actually a supporter of those things or not, which personally I have to admit myself, I don't like some of the stuff that they're putting out there in advertisements, like two men kissing and all the wokeness in Hollywood. Like, we have to have a gay character, we have to have a random black character, even when he doesn't need to really be there, or just all this type of unnecessary push inclusivity, type of stuff, to be quite honest with you. But at the same time, here's the thing. That's Hollywood. That's the entertainment industry in general, okay? What the hell does that have to do with politics? That's a question that they're not willing to answer, as well as any other conservative for that matter, okay? That is entertainment. That's companies that run that. The president, what the hell does he have to do with it? In any way, shape, or form whatsoever? And that's a question they're not willing to answer. Okay, just like everyone hated on Joe Biden, and of course later on it became Kamala Harris, saying, "Oh, you guys are all pushing this agenda on people." What the fuck does that have to do? This agenda you see in entertainment have to do with politics? It's a completely different field of expertise and so on and so forth. What the hell does that have to do? What does Disney forcing shit on people have anything whatsoever to do with, of course, no surprise, the people in power or something at all? Like, the people in power have nothing to do with what Disney's doing and all the weird stuff they're pushing. That's a different topic in itself. So no matter how you look at it, this was a bad choice, and a lot of this happened because a lot of Latinos thought they were accepted by America. Because the truth is that a lot of Latinos don't experience racism, at least to the degree we as black people do. Their racism they experience is not as intense as us. And because of all the big Latino names like Ariana Grande, Selena Gomez, and just to name a few, and of course the popularity of Mexican food and this and that, they've been deceived into believing they've been accepted by American society. But anyone who knows anything about white people, which of course is us, black people, knows that it just takes a small thing to happen for you to get out of line, for them to start turning on you. And now they're realizing it the hard way, in honesty. Okay? And that's the truth of the matter. And that is what is happening to them right now. And the truth is, all I can say in the end of the day, this should serve as a learning experience to them, okay? When it comes to what happens, when you believe you've been accepted. by white people. And it's not even just it's just Latinos, any group of people that feel that, oh, we're doing all this hard work, we're now going to be accepted by them completely, needs to realize that it's all illusion. Just look at what happened to Asians during 2020. They've been absolutely like the most perfect community on the face of the planet. And the moment some silly disease comes in the mix, look at how quickly everyone was turning on them. I remember that very clearly. Asians, and we're talking about like East Asians specifically, who obviously have a very good public image. It took the smallest thing for that to happen for them to turn on them. And even back to 2003 with the SARS epidemic, same thing. And that's what my point I'm trying to get across here. Just take the smallest thing for them to turn on you. So when you try to forget who you are, um, just remember that it just takes the smallest thing to happen for there to be consequences. Okay? From the white community. And that is the truth of the matter. So in short, I think this should serve as a learning lesson. I'm not being a hater, I'm just speaking as truth. So anyway, this is my video. This is all I have to say. And simply put it, I'm out. So bye.